Hey, and welcome to episode 28, 7 reasons why you should get into property development. By the end of this episode, you'll be thinking, I need to get into property development. So make 2022 your year. And this week, as usual, with the amazing Bob Anderson. So let's jump in and get you inspired. Hey, welcome to episode 28. Today covering 7 reasons you should get into property development, and we have a very amazing giveaway at the end that you might want to hear about, so stay on. But anyway, before that, The Secrets of Property Millionaires Exposed, giving away the book this week, Bob's chapter on why he believes that developing is the pinnacle of all strategies, and we will cover that today and you will absolutely believe him. This week going to Clayton Knight. Now Clayton recently joined our community today even, and so well done Clayton. He's a young guy about to get into property and I'm really excited for him. So this will be in the post view, and if you'd like to win this, jump on our YouTube channel, send us a great comment, subscribe, or you can send me an email, or you're welcome to jump on Apple Podcasts and say great things about us. Give us a review. You'll go in the draw. Great Christmas present. Anyway, Bob Anderson, the legend, 38 years.
Old.
You're not 38 years old. That is not true.
No, that's a fib.
Yeah, that is a fib. But 7 reasons why you should get into property development.
Yep. I started off at 77 and you said, no, that's too many, Bob.
Yeah.
Let's just put a strike through that second 7
Yes.
and we'll run for 7.
Yes. Yeah, well, 77 was far too many.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you do property development? And let's face it, we want to make money, and we should. Money's great. You can do a lot of good stuff with money for yourself and lots of other people. So why wouldn't you want to make a lot of money? So we want to make a profit. That's a damn good benefit of doing a property development, is making a big chunk of money, making a profit. That's a pretty good reason. I put that as number 1.
I agree with profit too, because money's a good thing. We can do so much with it. We can support others. We can have all the things we want. It takes a lot of stress. I mean, it's not. It doesn't de-stress life, but it does make life a hell of a lot easier when you've got money.
Yeah, and you could do a whole course on how you view wealth and everything, but it's a tool that when you use it, yes, certainly you can do a lot for yourself, you can do a lot for other people, but what it does give you, it gives you freedom, it gives you choices.
Freedom,
it gives you control even.
Oh, control.
Ooh, control. That's not.
I'm a captain.
You are.
That's a. If you're a disc profile, I'm a very high D. I'm a DI actually, almost level. Which is conflicting because it means I want to have a hell of a lot of fun while I'm in control. Oh my goodness. But anyway.
Well, it is your podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah. It is. Yeah, you're right. It is.
Podcast by Hillary. So, profit, a very good thing to have. And of course, you have to make a particular amount of profit to even get the financier on board.
Yes, that's something people don't realise. They think, if my development's going to make money, a bank's going to loan you money but if it's only making a small margin, banks won't loan on that.
No, I've had some people say that, and you've heard it too, where, let's say a bank's looking at a particular profit level, they don't really understand that. They say, look, I know it doesn't make as much as a normal project, but hey, it's making $150,000. I'm going to do it anyway. But the point is, that project might need to make $250,000 profit before the bank will do it.
It will depend on what the project costs.
Yeah. But it's not up to you.
No.
The bank will decide if it's profitable enough. They'll have their benchmarks for doing that.
There's a hole in the system there, because I do think people believe that, 60,000 is better than nothing, but if it's a big project and you're only making 60,000, you can sneeze and that 60,000 is gone.
Oh yeah, I've seen that happen.
Sneeze?
It's a big sneeze. But
yeah. These days sneezing is also almost, you feel like it's illegal, don't you?
Oh yeah, yet I don't. Anyway, we won't go there.
Okay.
I don't think it's even a symptom. So, yeah, profit. That's an important one.
The other thing with profit, and what you can do with it is leaving money behind, supporting our families, getting them set up, that sort of thing. I mean, I was a single mum and I was able to give my son the deposit for his first house when he was 21.
Yeah.
Thank you, property.
And where did that come from?
Property.
Doing what? Property, yeah, of course. Yeah, because you got into it at 18 years of age.
I did.
I didn't.
I wasn't developing at 18.
I was a silly young boy at 18.
Oh, no, trust me, I was a silly young girl. I just had a very pushy father who made me.
Well, good on your dad for doing that. Yeah, great. So,
that money, that profit, was able, to save that up for him.
Yeah. And so you pass that on. You pass that benefit on. Yeah, that's great. And when we're talking about the profit, I mean, that can take different forms. Like you could sell your project and make cash. And we need cash, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
We need cash flow, cash for,
everything.
Getting a haircut.
Black Friday was Friday. I popped out for 20 minutes and I was back six hours.
6 hours later.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, dear me. But anyway, that's...
But I bought you some nice Christmas presents.
Oh, I thought that might be happening.
Yeah.
Which is, I didn't mind you're out 6 hours. I'm sure she'll be okay. She's got a pretty healthy credit card or two in her purse. She'll be cool.
I did lose the car in the car park, but that's another whole story. So I did lose about 40
You're a
minutes.
shocker at getting lost. But anyway, that's another thing. But so like I was saying, when we got our project, we can go two ways. We can sell them and get a cash profit and spend it on sales, or we can keep our property. And so if we keep our property, it might only be one, it could be a 4 townhouse project or a 3, and we decide, we'll keep one, sell the rest. That's cool. So we get the cash from the ones we sell. But the ones we keep, this is what's different about a property developer, is we can use our profit as our deposit when we keep it. Now, you think about this in the retail world. Most people invest in the retail world. So what are they doing? They're paying retail price.
So they go out buy a house for what it costs through a real estate agent or however.
However, they pay retail price. As developers, we don't even pay wholesale. We'll pay cost price. Now, to put that into perspective, let's just say we develop some $600,000 townhouses. They cost us between about $480,000 and $500,000 each to create that $600,000 townhouse. Now, a normal retail purchaser, if they came to buy that $600,000 townhouse, first of all, they'd have to get 20% deposit, let's say, in typical 80-20 loan. They'd have to come up with $120,000 first of all. Secondly, they'd have to pay legals and stamp duty, which could be another $30,000. So they've really got to come up with $150,000 to buy that property. As a developer, we use our $100,000 or $120,000 profit. We just leave it in, leave it in the deal and leave it in there. And so the bank will lend us, the 80% of the 600. And we say, well, that's okay. That deposit is the profit I didn't cash out of when I sold it. I left it in there. And that's how you use your profit as your deposit, which means you can do it very quickly. And also, I'll probably get to this later, we haven't had to pay stamp duty because we already own it. There's no transfer.
So if you're doing a 4 townhouse pack and you're keeping, say, 1 or 2, depending on where you are, or the whole lot, like on your development journey, there's that no stamp duty is just heck bonus.
Bonus after bonus, as we're going to see.
Double bonus.
So that's using our profit as the deposit on the ones we keep, and we haven't had to
by leaving that money in there and not having to save it up.
Yeah, because the retail person will either have to save that $120,000 by working and.
Can I ask you a question to the listeners? When was the last time in your 8 to 5 that you saved $120,000
after tax?
I think my daughter rang me a couple of weeks ago and she'd say, was it 4,000 or 9,000 or something? She was so excited.
That's all relative.
I know, but it was just, I'm just like property development, and she can, you can property develop that anyway.
She's made way more than that this year.
Oh, because she got into property.
Because she got into property.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Yeah. Whereas that retail person either has to save that money up, or they've got to wait for the property that they own to go up enough in value so that they can refinance. But the problem is every time they refinance, everything's debt. I mean, even that $120,000 deposit that the retail financier had to come up with is nearly always debt, which is off another property that they own.
If you say debt like
so you got debt on debt.
Yeah, debt on debt, that's a noose.
So a lot of people start off, that $600,000 townhouse is like $120,000 that debt that plus the legals and the stamp duty. They've got $150,000 worth of debt from their side, and then the bank lends them the other $480,000, which is debt. So they've got $630,000 worth of debt on a $600,000 property. Now, the bank has other assets. They're holding other assets, so overall it might average 80%. But you see, that's why I don't ever want to be in the retail world.
And the thing is, debt's okay if that debt can take you forward, but that sort of debt it's slower, isn't
Well,
it? It
it's
feels
slow.
heavy, like debt on debt.
Look, it's better than doing nothing.
Absolutely.
Much better than doing nothing, but it's a slow way of building wealth. That's why property development's the way to go. So that's using our profit as our deposit. And, you know, another way, it's sort of related to it, but another way I think of things is, you know, capital gain, where your properties are going up. That's been great, hasn't it, in the last 12 months?
Oh, it's been nuts. Crazy.
That's a good way of describing the capital growth the last 12 months.
It's been nuts. We've had some of our students, it's just been fantastic. Great to see. It's just so exciting.
But, it's not always like that.
No.
You know, and there's times when properties go down in value. If you think of Sydney and Melbourne between 2017 and 19, it was a correction after some great growth. But properties went down there. Sometimes properties go for quite a while and don't go up. Over a long period of time, properties go up definitely more than they go down, obviously. But they stagnate for times. They come down a little bit at times. So what it is, this is back to this freedom thing, Hillary. The market controls you. Like if you're in the retail market, the only way you can get capital gain is if the market decides to give you some by going up in value. But what about when it's flatlined? You're not going anywhere. You're just getting older, spinning tyres. You're not going forward.
Oh, no one wants to get older and spin
backwards, you go backwards. So what I like to say is when you're a property developer, you create instant capital gain. Now, that instant capital gain is basically your profit. But what I'm saying is you've created it. You've taken control and created it. You're not at the whim of the market.
Because it doesn't matter how the market is, you're still, because you've developed it. You don't. Yeah.
No, so you've taken the market and shaken it, and you've taken the control back off it because you've created profit, like we talked about, by doing something active. You've used that profit on the ones you keep, and that's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. That's only the beginning of it. And then you've taken the market and said, well, you're not giving me the capital gain I want. I'll create my own. And even though we've had some great capital growth, I mean, the thing is developers get both of that. If the market goes up, let's just say we're developing something and we're making $100,000 out of per townhouse, but we had some growth during that period of time where townhouses went up $40,000, let's say. Well, as a developer, we make the 100,000 profit.
And the 40.
And the 40 on the growth.
How good.
Yeah. And so we either sell them at a higher price or we keep them and we got all that increased equity. Now we got more than 20%
And then back to the
equity.
beginning where we can use that deposit. It's just a big circle. These are so intertwined, aren't they? All these financial reasons.
Yeah. So that's why I say you're in control. It's one of the things I love about property development. You control your destiny.
And I suppose when we talk about, keeping, there's rental income on top of that. So you could have that 100,000 plus that 40,000. Then you've got a rental income.
Yeah, exactly right. So the ones we keep, we get rental. But, often as investors, we look at yield.
Yes.
So yield, typically gross yield, we're looking at our rental as a percentage of the value of the property. A lot of investors, we look at yields.
So we're looking at the rental as the percentage of the value of the property is the yield. Some people might need to slow that down and let their brain get around that because not everyone understands that.
Yeah, so that's typically how, as investors, how we look at something. And we might say, this particular townhouse has a 5% yield. That means our rent as a percentage of the value is 5% gross, And if you're talking net, then that would be, for instance, after agents' commission and, our maybe body corporate fees, rates, that sort of stuff. But we often talk gross. And so the thing is this, when you're creating property, not at retail price but at cost price, that yield is higher. And that's what we like, high yields, high yielding property. So if our rent was a percentage of the example I gave of 600,000, but if it was a percentage of 480 or 500, it'd be a higher percentage, wouldn't it? Because we get our properties at raw cost, not retail. So we have a higher yield, a higher yielding investment, and that's what we want. And so what we often look at is the difference between our yield and interest rates. Because our biggest expense in holding a property investment is typically the interest, isn't it? You know, that's the biggest thing.
Especially the negative gearing for people.
Oh, don't talk about negative gearing. It's a terrible thing.
Okay, we won't open that can of worms.
I got rid of that a long time ago. But the retail world lives in the world of negative gearing because they're stuck in that retail world. So as developers, you know, we've got a bigger difference between the percentage, the interest rate we pay and our yield, and that gives us more buffer, more fat. And so that's, you know, just that rental income.
You know, years ago I took, not years, it was only a few years ago really, but I just decided to check out for a bit, like I just sort of went off the grid, and I used rental income to like, I didn't have to work because I had rental income, and it was just such a nice feeling to have that option, to choose to do that and not think I'm going to have to go and be a barista somewhere or do whatever or whatever.
You make a pretty good coffee though.
I do make a good coffee, thank you. But it was nice to have the opportunity to just take 6 months out of my life by choice.
Freedom.
Yeah,
the freedom to do it.
Yeah, and the control. It was such a good feeling. And just to kind of recoup, breathe, think, okay, direction, what do I want to do? And yeah, it was worth it. So that's something on top of all those other benefits that rental incomes can do for us.
Yeah, it's back to that again. And then there's the tax benefits of property development. That can take different forms, but I think one in particular is around income tax. You know, most people work for a salary. And so they're locked in. Once again, this is a lack of freedom. You're locked into the whole tax structure.
But it's like, you hear it quite a bit. It's almost like what you learn to do at school. They take you through school, so you learn to go and get a job.
There's no subject called entrepreneurship.
I think there might be
at school.
There is now, but
well, there's subjects at uni.
At uni, but I don't think they allude to the fact that you can do your own thing. I think it's getting better. Slightly.
Probably getting better. Certainly when I went through, you know, you're told to like go and work for a bank or go and work in the public service.
I always just had my own businesses. My family always just didn't, they don't even know what I do. In fact, they
probably told you to be a dairy farmer.
Oh, they would have. But no, they wouldn't even know. I've never done the 8 to 5. Oh, it actually, like minimally. Didn't last very long. I'm not very good at those. Too many rules on that stuff.
8 to 5. Yeah, so most people are in this tax situation where the more you earn, you go into another higher tax bracket and you work your way up. And, you know, when you're earning decent money, you're in the 40s somewhere, you know, almost 50, the highest tax bracket.
So wrong.
Yeah. On that top dollars that you're earning. Whereas if you do property development, now you can make use of tax-effective tax structures, you know, and
little hint there, tax structures.
Tax structures.
Done by people who know what...
Legal tax structures.
Always pay the tax that you are supposed to pay, but not more.
Yeah, I don't want to pay 1 cent more than I legally have to pay. And so we can use structures. We can use companies, and of course, company tax is much lower than personal tax when you get up into those, you know, higher tax brackets. We can use trusts, and we can distribute funds back through beneficiaries of trust as well. We can start to use things called bucket companies. If you don't know what it is, there's an exercise. Go and look up what a bucket company is. And so we can use all these effective tax structures to reduce our tax. We might end up paying tax somewhere in the 20s, 20%, not up, you know, in that high marginal tax brackets. So just that alone, just on our income tax, and we pay income tax on the ones that we sell. But then, of course, the ones that we keep, and structured properly, of course, they're on what we call on account of capital gain. So, and we don't pay tax. The ones we keep,
there's no tax.
We don't pay tax
unless you pay, unless you sell.
Unless you sell.
Yeah. And there's also no stamp duty.
Another good point. No stamp duty. That's another one of the benefits
of making your own.
Yeah. So lots of tax benefits, particularly income tax. You know, if you're going to make $300,000 or $400,000 out of doing, you know, a 3 townhouse project, the less tax you pay, the better. Who would want to do that in your personal name and get smashed for tax?
Oh, there's another rookie tip there.
Then you've got asset
protection,
protection, which you don't want to put in your own name anyway. So I guess what it all comes back to, and we're talking a lot about developing and holding, but
not necessarily. Like initially, like, and you were the same. And initially, you develop and sell because you need that money so you can go faster. Because it's all about building the war chest.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of younger, not necessarily younger, older for that matter, but new developers in our community tend to sell their first few projects, sell them out, sell everything, get a big chunk of cash. which is the treasure chest or the war chest.
Yes.
And then that enables them to go on and do more projects or bigger projects. Most people do sell their first few out. But once you've done that, you can start to keep properties because that's building it for long-term wealth.
And that's building a portfolio.
And then you can start to hold property. You know, it's not accidental that developers generally have large property portfolios.
I listened to a podcast a while ago from somebody who actually did your course. I was there. I chatted with him. I've chatted with him a few times actually. And obviously it was somebody else's podcast, so he wasn't allowed to mention you, but you were the person who got him started. And he started by developing. And then I think recently he won Australia's Property Developer of the Year. Investor of the Year.
Yeah.
He wanted 30 houses by age 30 or something. Yeah, but he started by property developing. And that was that kickstart to get that money, you know, like buy a property to develop. And then that just sped up the process. Otherwise, like you said before, you know, saving that money and then, you know, waiting for it to be enough to buy that, get that negative gearing against yourself.
Pain.
And oh my gosh, it's exhausting.
It's slow, it's painful.
Oh, well, nobody ever goes, well, how many people get past 2 properties?
Not many.
And if they do, they drop back because of the hassle.
The amount of people that own one property, and I can't remember the percentages, but when you drop back to 2 properties, it drops drastically. And 3, it just goes through the floor. And
you might be listening to this and go, oh, my mum and dad
How
have
many
5, but they are the minority statistically.
Yeah.
It's
And people that own 5, what's the debt level?
That's if they've done it the retail, you know, but developers generally not because it's so much cheaper.
I mean, if you develop 4 townhouses, and it might take you between, you know, 16 and 24 months, depending on, you know, things, how long they take. All of a sudden, you've got 4 townhouses at raw cost if you want to keep them. Now, you might decide to keep one and sell 3, that's fine. The 3 you sell, big chunk of cash, pay some tax, who cares? But it'll be low tax because it'll be structured properly. And the one you keep, you never pay tax on it unless you sell it. Exactly what you said before. Why would you want to sell it? People tend to sell properties because they just get so sick of negative gearing and it hurts so much that they end up selling their investments. When you're a property developer, if you need more cash, that's the ones you sell. You've got heaps of cash coming in from the ones you sell. You don't need to sell the ones you keep. And so you keep them forever. And your kids end up with them. That's how it works.
There you go. There, like pretty much wrap that one up.
Yeah, rapid portfolio growth. And that's, you know, you do it. You're developing NDIS product, which is high yielding.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Pumps cash.
Yep.
And then, of course, you're going to keep that.
It's the NDIS is definitely keeper type stuff.
We're developing a 99-house retirement village. We're going to keep the whole lot of that too.
Yeah. So just to remind me why we need 99 houses again?
Because it's a good thing to do.
It is, yeah.
We're housing 99 older people.
Yeah. Specially built.
Who want to live in a luxury
resort on a golf course.
Resort on a golf course.
Yeah, nice.
That's why I'm doing it. Yeah, for the 99 people. So, and then there's special savings along the way as well. I mean, even things like depreciation. Like when you've got a property investment, those what they call non-tax deductions, they're deductions you get without having ever spent the money in the first place.
So give an example of those just for people so they understand.
Well, depreciation is a non-tax deduction. So what it means is you can depreciate your building, for instance, each year, and you can depreciate your fixtures and fittings. So as opposed to other deductions where you're spending money to get the deduction, these ways it just comes off the value. And depreciation is a big one. That's a great reason for why do we develop and hold new properties. New properties are in high demand rental. They're in much higher demand than second-hand properties. You often get a better type of tenant. You get a higher paying tenant. You get minimum to no maintenance. And, of course, all the other things we said, but that's the depreciation you get as well. And that's part of these special savings that you get as well.
Like little intricate savings, I suppose, that you don't realise that are in a development, whether it's develop and sell, there are lots there, whether it's develop and hold, whether it's develop and partial of that.
You mentioned something before about stamp duty. So these are other savings. When we develop our own properties and we keep them, we don't have to pay stamp duty on the purchase like a retail investor, assuming we're going to hold our properties in the same entity that we developed in, which we obviously want to do.
Because you would have had good advice.
You see, we pay stamp duty when there's a transfer of title from one name to another, but we're not. It's staying in our name. We don't pay stamp duty. $25,000 per townhouse stamp duty or whatever it is, we don't have to pay.
Another saving,
We don't
which
have
is a special
that
saving.
15 or 18, whatever it is, $1,000 commission that we pay an agent to sell for us. We don't, because we're not selling it.
Yeah, the commission.
That could be $43,000 saving that we got straight up front.
All up, we could almost summarise these all together as in that there's the special, like you save on stamp duty, you save on agent's commission, you save on...
Make an extra 100,000 or 120,000.
Yeah, you save on just the purchase, like you're not having to purchase and you're getting it at the,
With depreciation and all those other things. I mean, why wouldn't you?
If you're not over the edge by now, seriously.
The only thing is you don't get to claim back the GST on the costs of the ones you keep, but compared to all the other savings, that's not even worth worrying about.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
the reasons you should. Hey, on that, Bob, just before we recorded this, we decided that this will be coming out around the just a couple of weeks before Christmas, and we are going to give away something or put up some really good deals for Christmas. So if you're not in our Property Developer Secrets and Hacks Facebook group, jump on there. It'll be advertised in there, or if you receive our newsletter, it'll be on there, which comes out every Thursday, the Property Mastermind Times. So we're going to have some cool stuff available for Christmas that you might want to know about. So yeah.
Or get Santa to put it on your list and get someone else to buy it for you.
It's a great Santa. It's great Santa presents.
I've started my Santa's list. I hope you've been working your way through it.
Yeah.
It's been out there for a while.
I got a photo from my daughter of a whiteboard the other day.
Yeah.
A whiteboard list of what she wants for Christmas.
Goodness.
Yeah.
But we're going to have something special, Hillary.
Yeah, we are. So do look out for that. We haven't decided what it is yet.
But it will be good.
It will be good.
So
because
it's going to be on the Secrets and Hacks Facebook page and our weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursday.
Yeah, the Property Mastermind Times that comes out on Thursday. Yeah, so look out for that. You will want to be involved. Also, if you want to know more about what we do, propertymastermind.com.au. Check us out. If you like this episode, give us a like, follow and subscribe on YouTube, follow on Apple. And maybe you need to share it with somebody. Maybe there's some tips in there. You need to get a family member over the line that you might want to do a joint venture with. And look, you need to listen to these guys. They know what they're talking about.
We sure do.
We sure do.
We've taught most of the other educators out there. Of course we know what we're doing.
Bob did. He pretty much taught all the other educators. So why would you not learn from Roger Federer? You're the Roger Federer of property development.
Well, yeah.
Or you could go and learn from like someone's dad who learned off Roger.
Learn tennis from the local or learn it from Roger.
Rog.
I'll be the Roger of property development.
Yeah, do it, mate.
You could be the Serena Williams of property development. How's that?
My booty's not big enough.
Oh, dear. Anyway.
What is it with that whole booty growing thing these days? I don't know. Anyway,
go
we've definitely digressed. On that note, it's probably time to go.
I think it's time to go, Hillary.
Yeah, I think that episode 28, 7 reasons why you should get into property development. If you are interested, 2022 could be your year.
It will be.
All right. Catch you next week.
Okay.
Bye.